group of disciples because he's already sensing this idea of being judgmental creeping into his inner circle. Others say that Jesus is addressing a religious leader. Considering he's called them hypocrites multiple times, why would this one be any different? Or perhaps, or going back to the idea that Jesus is referring to someone in his own circle, we do have the fact that he uses the words your friend or your brother, showing that there's a close relationship going on here. Now, an expert in Greek, I am not. And I am open to the possibility that of all the work of scholarship that has come before me, maybe I'm getting this one wrong. But I think we can stick with this notion of there being a singular focus and a person that Jesus is looking at when he addresses this teaching to you. Because in all reality, when we look at the teachings of Jesus, they are to you. They are for you. And chapter 7 begins with him saying to you, do not judge, and you will not be judged. Now, you've likely heard people say something like, I can't stand Christians because Christians are all a bunch of judgmental hypocrites. To which I would typically and tactfully say, well, on behalf of all the Christians around the world and all the Christians who have ever existed throughout time, you just judged with that one statement. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I think you might be right at home, so please join us. You've probably also heard people say, you're not supposed to judge. Don't judge. I don't know what your Bible says, but my Bible says, do not judge. And by golly, they're right. Because if you look at Matthew 7, you just ignore everything else that comes after that. Right there, do not judge, plain as day. So we better not get caught up in saying things like, these muffins are good, because that's a judgment. I really like the color choice for this room. Can't say that either. Do not judge. It's wrong to judge. So we need some nuance, because the decisions we make on a daily basis that guide our life, those are all judgment calls. The court of law has judgments. You can even judge for a speeding ticket. The judges on American Idol and America's Got Talent are judging. It's their job. So it's not a sin, at least I don't think it is. But it's why we need to read all those words that come after those first three. And when we do that, we'll see that Jesus, in addressing the behavior and mindset of one person, is warning all of us against setting ourselves over another and making a pronouncement of their guilt before God. I see this as just another way, not just another way, but as another way that Jesus is having his disciples understand that they are to break free from the practices, the values, and the thinking of the religious system which they were brought up in. Taking examples of what was going on in Judaism and announcing to his followers, we're not going to do it that way. Because the kingdom that I'm bringing in is different. And it's going to look different from what you're used to. And though his earliest followers were not among the religious leaders, they did grow up in that system. And they saw how the leaders behaved. And they